The age-old debate of Virginia versus West Virginia. Two states that share a name, a border, and a history, but when it comes to the cost of living, they might as well be in different time zones. Today, we have an interesting topic to discuss that might be helpful for those of you considering a move to the beautiful state of Virginia or its neighboring state, West Virginia. In this video, we'll be exploring the cost of living in Virginia versus West Virginia, and we'll help you make an informed decision based on the key factors that influence the cost of living in these states. I'm going to spare you the long-winded intro today and just humbly and politely ask you to tip me $1,000. Or at least tap that subscribe button. Either one works, really, whatever you're in the mood for. And if you're new here, this channel is all about living in Virginia and West Virginia. If you're not new, welcome back to the channel and buckle up, folks, because we're about to embark on a thrilling journey, and its first stop is the wild world of housing costs. Yes, you heard me right, thrilling, because nothing gets my blood pumping quite like a good old-fashioned housing cost comparison analysis between Virginia and West Virginia. Now let's start with Virginia. If you're thinking of settling down in the Old Dominion, be prepared to shell out a pretty penny, especially if you're eyeing the Northern Virginia regions. Places like Arlington and Fairfax and Loudoun counties are notorious for their high housing prices. Why, you ask? Well, it's all thanks to their cozy proximity to Washington, D.C. and a job market that's hotter than a habanero in a heat wave. But don't despair, because Virginia isn't all sky-high prices and expensive lattes. The further you venture away from city centers like D.C. metro area and Richmond, you'll find housing costs that are pretty welcoming. For example, here where I live in Frederick County, Virginia, the median home price is around $330,000. If I picked one of these homes up and dropped it in the middle of Loudoun County 40 minutes away, you'd see the price almost double instantly. Now, unfortunately, I'm not strong enough to actually do that, but what I can do, and do regularly in fact, is hop over the state line to West Virginia, and we're going to look at that housing cost landscape right now. So, if Virginia is the high-maintenance sibling, West Virginia is the laid-back, easygoing one. Housing costs here are generally lower across the board, making it the perfect choice for those who prefer to spend their hard-earned cash on things other than mortgages or rent. Cities like Charleston and Charlestown, which are two different cities in different parts of the Mountain State, offer affordable housing options that might have your wallet singing hallelujah. And the smaller towns and rural areas like Augusta, well, they're more than affordable, clocking an average sales price of about $240,000 this year. The median home price in West Virginia is significantly lower than the national average. Now, I know what you're thinking, but what about the job market? Well, my friend, West Virginia has a diverse economy with sectors like healthcare, education, and tourism offering plenty of job opportunities, so you can have your affordable house and your job too, depending on the job, of course. But let's play devil's advocate here for a moment. Sure, housing in West Virginia is cheaper, but Virginia does have a higher median income according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and pretty much anybody you ask. So while you might be paying more for housing in Virginia, you might also be earning more. It's a bit like being on a seesaw, isn't it? You have to weigh your own options and see where it lines up for you between your ideal lifestyle, your career goals, and of course, the pocketbook. In the end, whether you choose the rolling hills of Virginia or the mountainous charm of West Virginia, remember this: home is where you hang your hat, and also where you pay your mortgage or rent. So choose wisely, my friends, and may the odds of finding affordable housing be ever in your favor. Now let's move deeper into the financial tug-of-war between these two states and move our focus to the often overlooked but critically important aspects of utilities and transportation. If you're the type who enjoys the occasional candlelit dinner, not because of the romantic ambiance, but because you're trying to save on electricity, then you might find Virginia's utility costs to be a bit of a shock. Get it? They're pretty much on par with the national average, but don't fret, my frugal friends, because it's not all doom and gloom, because the cost can fluctuate depending on where in the state you decide to hang your hat. Now, as a realtor in these two fine states and a viewer of many a YouTube video, I think what people really forget to mention is this: it depends. It depends on what kind of insulation your house has. It depends on what kind of heating system you have. It depends on whether you're a crazy person like my cameraman back there who likes to keep the temperature at a negative 50 degrees indoors. But aside from that, it's true. Utility costs vary based on where you are. For instance, the utility cost in Roanoke might not be the same as in Virginia Beach. So if you're considering a move to the Old Dominion, it might be worth your while to do a bit of city hopping to find the best utility rates. And when it comes down to a specific home, don't be afraid to ask your agent what the utility companies are for a specific domicile you're eyeing. Now, on the flip side, West Virginia offers a breath of fresh air when it comes to average utility costs. They're generally much lower compared to the national average, making it a more affordable option. So if you're someone who enjoys the simple pleasures of life, like a hot shower or a warm house in the winter, without the fear of breaking the bank, West Virginia might just be the place for you. But let's not forget about transportation. After all, what good is a cheap utility bill if you're spending all your savings on getting from point A to point B? Virginia, with its well-connected network of highways and public transportation systems, especially in urban areas like Richmond and Northern Virginia, might seem like a commuter's dream. but with higher population density comes increased traffic congestion, and with that, higher commuting expenses. It's like being stuck between a rock and a hard place, or in this case, between a car and a bus. And you'll find a lot more public transportation in Virginia. West Virginia, on the other hand, with its more rural landscape, might not boast the same level of public transportation infrastructure as Virginia, but don't let that fool you. The lower population density can result in shorter commutes and lower transportation costs. It's like the tortoise and the hare. Virginia might have the faster, more efficient transportation, but on average, West Virginia gets you to the finish line with more money in your pocket. Now, one other thing to mention here is that Virginia has the highest vehicle property tax in the country on average, according to a recent study by Wallet Hub. And it's no accident that we're mentioning it here, because it's the segue into the next part of this video. But how could I not ruin a perfect segue with a shameless pitch? And if you're looking for a realtor to help you with your move to either of these wonderful states, give me a shout. My info is below. Call, text, email, and carrier pigeons on Tuesdays. My associates and I have your back when you're ready to make the move. Now, the two states, when it comes to the cost of living, they can feel as different as night and day, or as different as a utility bill for a 5-bedroom mansion in Virginia Beach and a cozy cabin in the West Virginia mountains. But hey, who's comparing? Well, we are, so let's compare taxes next. A wise man once said, "It's not about the destination, it's about the tax deductions along the way." That man was Joe, my CPA, and shout out to Joe, you're the man. But let's start with Virginia, the state that's not just for lovers, but also for those who appreciate a progressive income tax system. The rates here range from a modest 2% to a more substantial 5.75%. And now, depending on your income bracket, you might be thinking, that's not too bad, but hold on to your wallets because there's more. According to tax.virginia.gov, the state sales tax stands at 5.3%. The localities, always eager to get in on the action, can add their own taxes, resulting in varying rates depending on where you are. And let's not forget about property taxes. They also vary across the state, with urban areas like Fairfax and Alexandria playing the role of the tax-hungry villain with their higher rates. Places like Warren and Frederick County, Virginia, much less. According to taxrates.org, the median property tax in Virginia is $1,862 per year for a home worth $252,600. And while that price point isn't realistic in many places in Virginia, you get the idea. Now let's hop back over the border to West Virginia, where that home price range is definitely possible and where the income tax system is also tiered like a wedding cake, with rates ranging from 3% to 6.5%. The state sales tax is a flat 6%, and property taxes are generally lower compared to Virginia. In fact, the median property tax in West Virginia is just $928 per year for a home worth $189,000, and that's quite a bit less of what you'd pay in Virginia. But remember, cheaper isn't always better. Just ask anyone who's ever bought discount sushi. In the grand chessboard of life, the question of where to hang your hat is often one that stirs up a whirlwind of considerations. Ultimately, both states say Virginia in them somewhere, but they're quite different. And we can think about cost of living a bit like a buffet. It's not just about the price tag on the state, it's about the whole spread. It's the housing, the groceries, the healthcare, the transportation, utilities, and yes, even the night out at your favorite restaurant. In the end, the choice between Virginia and West Virginia is about more than just dollars and cents. It's about what you value in a home, community, and a lifestyle. So whether you're drawn to the hustle and bustle of Virginia's thriving cities or the quiet charm of West Virginia's rural landscapes, remember this: the best place to live is the one that feels like home. And you can take that to the bank. Rex Petrie, your Virginia, West Virginia real estate agent, signing off.